Today we're going to mix Vega and Sorcery because I have a really hopefully cool look in mind. We're doing this chat to get ready with me style, so I'm just going to start by applying my eyeshadow primer, which will be as usual the 24 Extend Base by MAC. Also, I want to show you something and tell you a funny story. So my son brought this from school. Take a good look at it. You're probably thinking the same that I thought when I first saw it. Oh no, my son is the boy from the Sixth Sense. Next thing you know, he's going to tell me that he sees that girl covered in blood somewhere around our house. Obviously, it turns out this is a much more innocent scenario than you would imagine. So the girl is supposed to be Mama, aka me. The red on the picture is supposed to be her red dress. And obviously, you know, she has the cutesy little hair and the cutesy little shoes. In all fairness, these shoes do look like my recent hiker's aesthetic. I still have to wear my hiker shoes for another week or so, and after that I'm going to switch back to sneakers. FYI, in case you were curious, my foot has been recovering pretty well. I can walk pretty normally at this point, taking Auric Glow Last, and certain movements are still a little bit painful. Plus, if something's really pressing against the spot where my bone was broken, I can still feel discomfort and pain, but for the most part I think I'm recovering pretty well. So I was even thinking of trying to bike this weekend, but anyway, that's besides the point. I was just saying that the shoes of this girl, because of the stringy things, look a little bit like the shoes that I've been wearing for the past couple of weeks. And that brought me to another funny story that I could tell you about Nicola. So a while back he was watching Taking First Aid Beauty Bendy Avocado Concealer. So a while back my son was watching the Minions movie. And, well, there have been many Minions movie. I cannot tell you exactly which one that was. Maybe it was actually Despicable Me and not really a Minions movie. But anyway, there were Minions in it. And the villain in that movie was a woman with a short bob, dark hair, red dress, heels, and a red lipstick. And my son's watching Minions. And at one point he points to the TV, and we're talking like maybe like 1.5 years ago or so. He was like considerably younger. He's 4 now. He points to the TV and he explains, "Look, Mama!" Villain. And to be fair, the villain looked like a classy lady, so I didn't really take it as a offense that he compares me to the villain. Anyway, I don't know whether that was a story that was worth for you to hear or you had any interest in. So let's instead talk a little bit about makeup. I'm going to take the MAC Studio Water Weight Foundation. So this one here, which I bought as a substitute for the Estee Lauder Double Wear Nude because they're very similar formulas. So last week, after about a year of deliberation, I finally went on to Victoria Beckham's website and I sort of went bonkers. I was thinking of getting a couple of Victoria Beckham products for my previous birthday, for my birthday last year, well, this past 2022. And because my birthday is approaching, I am an early January born kid, and I'm going to be 40. I figured maybe it's about time that I finally gift myself something from Victoria Beckham. And to be honest with you, I kind of, from the beginning, wanted to go, like, sort of go big or go home on this order, because there are a lot of products that I consider quite interesting from her brand. I am almost 100% sure that I will really like everything she makes, from the packaging to the actual products, because for one, they've been getting really good reviews, and for two, Posh seems to know what she's doing. She's very... I have a lot of respect for her, and maybe we're going to talk about her a little bit more in the video, so I'm not going to like ramble about that for too long. But like, I like what she's doing with her brand. Let me put down a little bit of powder. I'm taking the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish on my sweet little kabuki here from Koyodo. So instead of just trying like 1 or 2 products, I decided to try a bunch of products that, you know, I have interest in. And because she was having a 20% off sale, which might still be going on at the time you see this video or not, because it was marketed as a Cyber Monday sale, but I'm not actually quite sure that I will be able to put this video before, like, after Cyber Monday, so it's possible that the sale has already finished. But either way, if you are, you know, a fan of luxury makeup or her brand, you probably will know that she's been doing a sale this past week, and plenty of people have actually been posting videos with recommendations for products from Victoria Beckham's brand. I'm taking the Charlotte Tilbury Sunkissed bronzer in the shade Fair to bronze slash contour, more like contour really, because this is a very cool toned bronzer for me. But you're probably the most curious exactly what it is that I bought, and obviously you will find out as soon as the products arrive, which hopefully should be sometime next week. But I went for one, the bronzer bricks, because those have been one of Victoria Beckham's most popular and most cult makeup products. So I purchased the shade 2, which I think will be a good shade match for me. I purchased one of her cream blush stick things because it seems like a very beautiful neutral color, and I do like me a nice cream blush formula. I'm going to take my Gucci blush in Rose Beige. I also ordered... What else did I order? Oh yeah, of course I ordered one of the lid lusters. I ordered the shade Mink because I was actually originally eyeing that shade. Actually, one of the reasons now I remembered I didn't order from Victoria Beckham's Beauty last year, around my birthday when I first started seriously considering trying her brand, was the fact that at the time pretty much everything that I was eyeing, so the bronzer in the specific shade that I mentioned as well as this lid luster, were both sold out. For highlighter today I'm going to bust out this Daniel Sandler watercolor highlighter that was part of a kit a while back. And I also purchased, and I think that's going to probably be the biggest shocker for you, I purchased one of her eyeshadow palettes, but it is the most boring one in the bunch. It is the one that contains the matte, like brownie, neutral, cool toned eyeshadows, because it sort of reflects the kind of look I want to go for when I'm using her products. Just something super easy through the crease, and a nice shiny lid luster on the lids. So that's the reasoning behind it. And finally, I also purchased one of her lipsticks. So they come in this like slim packaging. They have this like seemingly very similar formula to the Luxuriously Lucent from Lisa Eldridge. They're like a creamy formula, very comfortable on the lips, have been getting really good reviews. So I was intrigued by one of the colors as well. So as you can see, I placed quite the epic order from Victoria Beckham's Beauty website, and I cannot wait to get it and share it with you. But now let's go back to Lisa Eldridge so I can tell you what kind of look we're going to be going for today. So today I'm going to sort of dip back, as I said, into both palettes. And to start off with, I'm actually going to apply quite a few of the shades from Vega. I'm going to go with these two through my crease, starting off with this one, then deepening up a little bit with this one. And then I'm going to put this one on my lids because I haven't actually tried that shade. It's the shade Moon Swirl. I'm going to put this one into my inner corners because it is the only shade that will sort of work for me as an inner corner highlight. And then we're going to dip back into the Sorcery palette, and I'm going to apply this beautiful shade here that I forget the name of, the shade Mercurial, which is probably the most striking eyeshadow out of both palettes that I purchased, and maybe out of all the 5 that have been released. It is a gorgeous sparkly duochrome shade over top of the taupey shade from the Vega palette, because I think that would look really beautiful together. And then I think on my lower lash line I'm still debating a little bit what I want to do. Either I will keep it really simple and go for the brown eye shades to complete the look, or I might pop a little bit of this bluish greenish matte on my lower lashes. But I have not quite made up my mind yet, so we are going to see last minute. I am taking a fluffy brush from Zoeva, and I'm going to start blending the cool toned taupe through my crease. I wonder if by now most of you have already received your eyeshadow palettes, or, well, generally speaking, products from Lisa's latest release, because I know for a lot of you shipping was delayed until November 23rd, which was several days ago. So I really hope that by now you have at the very least received a shipping notification, and at the very best already have your products. Now I'm going to dip back between the two brown shades because the lightest matte in this palette is a little bit too light for me, so I'm going to sort of mix the two now. And for those of you who received your palettes a little bit later than the rest, I'm hoping that you are enjoying them after all the wait. Next, I'm taking a pencil brush. This one is just from Zoeva, and I'm dipping into the deeper brown from the Vega palette because I want to start to build that right here into the outer corner and just slightly taking it towards the lid in this sort of like V looking shape. And then I'm going to concentrate most of the depth of the shade here in the very outer corner of the eye. And I'm going to try to also pull that a little bit like this. This is also the first time that I'm sort of testing this brown shade in the outer corners to see how much it can build up. And it seems like it can build up to quite a variety of intensities depending on how much you put on. I think for me, for the purposes of today, this will be enough. If you wanted to go even deeper than this, I think you can just include the black in this mix, and then it's really going to pop. But it's a Saturday today, I'm not doing anything fancy. In fact, I still need to work on my manuscript, so I'm just going to keep it light and simple. I'm going to take a little bit of the Intensify stick from Pat to apply the shade Moon Swirl over top of a bit of a sticky base. Not that it's really required, but it is a little bit of a habit of me to do this with metallic shades, so I prefer to stick to my habits. I'm going to take the Vega palette, and just using this brush, I'm going to go into the shade Moon Swirl and load quite a little bit of product on here and apply this on the lid. And I think if you wanted to go for like just a very simple neutral look with the Vega palette without really making it too smoky or too, you know, colorful or too intense because of the black and the blue shade, you could basically sort of like stop here and you get a beautiful classic neutral look. If you wanted to make this look pop, you could apply just a little bit of the luminous shade in the Vega palette over top of the Moon Swirl shade, just through the center or something, if your desire was to keep this look a little bit more on the neutral side. But as I said, we're taking it in a slightly different direction. So I'm just going to blend here around the edges a tiny bit. Not that it's absolutely required, but... Then I'm going to take my Vega palette again and take this luminous shade to put through the inner corners for a little bit of extra light. And now for the most fun part of this look, I'm going to take the Sorcery palette and just use my fingers here to grab a few flakes of this beautiful, beautiful shade. And I don't want this shade to completely overtake the rest of the look, so I'm going to try to be a little bit less heavy-handed when I apply it here over top of this neutral shade. But I think the neutral shade is strong enough on its own to hold its own underneath this shade. Oh, that looks so pretty. I'm actually kind of going to stick to the Vega palette and go back into the deeper brown shade and apply that here on my lower lashes to complete the look, because I think I want... It's also always sparkle o'clock on my channel, and I think it's a real shame if you don't get to see how beautiful and sparkly that mercurial shade is over top of the Moon Swirl from Vega. So here you have the sparklies. I also turned you around so you have a bit of a view on Mona for the outro of this video. Now, overall, I quite enjoyed this look. I think that you can pair these two palettes in very interesting and creative ways. I think there are like maybe one or two more looks that I would like to do before we move on from this week of Lisa Eldridge palettes, but we shall probably see each other again for at least a few more looks before I complete this series. Just in case you were curious, I kept it also quite simple on my lips because, like I said, doing nothing special today, heading out to the supermarket in a few minutes. So I just applied a subtle layer of Meet Me in Berlin, which is one of the luxuriously lucent lipsticks from Lisa Eldridge, which may be one of my favorite products that I have bought this year. Mona and I sincerely hope that you enjoyed this video and this look. Let us know in the comment section below what you thought about this neutral with a twist sort of pairing. As usual, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!